Well, I got this old girl going. I've had I bought this was a Princess Auto special. They were doing these reman saws for a while. It's just Poolin. I know some guys think they're garbage or whatever, but I don't think they know what they're talking about half the time. A buddy of mine had tuned it up for me when he borrowed it, and so it runs pretty nice. The only problem I've ever had with it, and like I'm no expert on chainsaws, power saws, whatever you want to call them, but this is the second chain brake cover I've gone through, and the problem is that you're trying to tension this thing up, and then that little doohickey wants to pop out there, your tensioning screw piece, and that's shit. So I know a lot of Husqvarnas had the same style, and in fact, they were probably built by Poulin. And so, what we've done in the family is my in-laws, they made a little plate, and it's just plain steel, and it's like 14 gauge or something like that. And I followed suit. I did that too, and so far it's working pretty good. Like I don't keep it super tight or nothing like that. I was doing a little bit of slashing, so I just put a little more tension than probably normal on there. And I've been having some troubles with my lower back anyway, so chainsawing is not really all that fun these days. Not that it ever really was, but so I made this plate yesterday. It was just actually from my old stump grinder. I had a stump grinder for my tractor because I couldn't get any business with it because Manitobans are bad for business. They're all cheapskates. I sold it. Sold to a nice couple from the Interlake. So when I had the stump grinder, it came with this little box on it, and it contained 6 extra teeth. This was made by Balmalite, and it had a little cardboard box inside there, and it's like they wasted some really good steel just to house a few extra teeth. Careful, these pieces are sharp. So I cut that piece off with my angle grinder, and I had also made a start first here. And I made a cardboard template in about this shape, about as close as I could get it. And then once I cut that piece of steel out with the angle grinder, I had traced this all out onto the steel and got it pretty close, cut it all out real nice. And then I started, polishing up the edges, grinding them, and then finally filing them. And then I just marked out the spots where the studs were. And I did that yesterday within like half an hour. I was kind of proud of myself because I'm not much of a fabricator. It's my buddy that's the big time fabricator and engine tuner upper and mechanic and everything. And now he's a full-time firefighter. And anyway, I got that done, the little tricks I learned from my buddy and stuff I learned when I was taking diesel mechanic school many years ago. So I did that, and now it's holding it all together nice and tight, even tension across the whole thing. And ever since Chris had tuned this thing up, I mean, it always runs nice. And a friend of mine, he's like, oh, you should only buy Still or Husqvarna or Johnsert or whatever they're called. And I'm like, why? I don't really chainsaw that much, and this thing runs nice. I mean, it's not a big engine. I don't really need something with a great big huge engine. It's only 46 cc. It's supposed to have a 20-inch bar, but it's actually got a 17, and I'm fine with that. Sometimes it'd be nicer to have a longer bar for when you're cutting firewood, but there's a character in BC, and now I can't think of his name, but he was saying, if you're going to do a lot of firewood cutting and you're just going to sit there all day cutting, get a bigger saw with like a 30 or 32-inch bar, and then you hardly have to bend over because bending over does suck. And I'm having some issues with my back, so I'm going to go see the back cracker on Monday. But I've got my little environmental cleanup job in the back here is still going ahead. And I'm still waiting on getting the excavator here because the boss has been using it on another project. Kind of just a project for a buddy. It's kind of similar thing. And so I had to cut some of this stuff down because I wanted to clean up this dirt here, and I want to be able to get at that stump and rip that out. And this tree and all that. It's going to come down, but I'm going to use the excavator for that because I can push it the way I want it to go, and it'll take the stump out with it. And so I was just cutting some of this stuff here. Some of it's kind of still standing, but it's all cut at the bottom. I just got to go haul it to the brush pile. And I had this maple here that's kind of in the way for me getting in here with the hoe or with a tractor. And this old poplar had fallen long before we had moved in here, and nobody bothered cleaning it up. So I just finished bucking it up, and yeah, it would have been nice to actually have that 32-inch bar. But it's not always nice to hold all that weight. I'm not a terribly big guy like some of these other guys. I'm only 5'6", and about I don't want to admit how heavy I am at the moment, but I'm a couple 100 pounds, I'll put it that way. So, you know, it's not always nice having that thing hanging off your arms like that all day. But yeah, I slashed down this little maple here. It's just dripping water too. Kind of sucks. But I wish people weren't such pigs, because you can see here is all kinds of garbage. Like, it's just disgusting. All this whole pile here has got to go to the dump, and it's going to cost us a bit. So, because everything's by the metric ton, and I probably got to borrow the boss's tandem, and I got to wait till spring road restrictions are off, because in Manitoba we're against the idea of allowing businesses to flourish or commerce to trade. See, there's like steel wire in here, like page wire. There's more garbage. Some tin. The tin I'll separate, obviously. I'll go to the scrap pile. And over here, there's the same thing. More fencing. A metal bucket. A plastic bucket that's squashed. A whole bunch of diapers. Some styrofoam. Scrap wood. You know, like, it's just disgusting. I think there's a bicycle chain in there. And the diapers are really disgusting, for obvious reasons. And there's a bunch of them in here, like in this piece of metal here, there's a bunch of diapers in there. Fucking lazy ass people, and cheapskates too. So when I can, I'm going to get that Hitachi in here, my baby, and I'll clean up all the garbage, haul that away immediately, if not just stockpile, and then haul it once restrictions are off. Just depends on when I get it. And then I'm going to level stuff out. If I have any dirt available, I'll grade it all out nice. I'll rip all the stumps out. I've got another pile of trash in the back here. This is a little trail I was trying to make for the kids, and then I started discovering all the garbage. I was just going to try and make it so eventually it'd be nice enough that the kids could go ride their bikes back here. Obviously needs to be grubbed and leveled and all that. That's not a big deal, especially if you have a 16-ton excavator. So yeah, this pile here, there's like a old mattress spring, you know, because they burnt the rest of the mattress. And then this dirt here, it's full of garbage. It's just disgusting. So I got to sort through that, maybe with the tooth bucket, or maybe with the wrist twist. And then I'll load that all into the dump truck, haul it away to the dump. But yeah, like this whole thing, pretty much all going to the dump. And it's mixed with this beautiful black topsoil, and that pisses me off to no end. So this is going to be the garden here. It was already a garden before, and then nobody bothered cleaning any of this stuff up. So these stumps and all this stuff, all this brush is going to get cleaned out, leveled, you know, made nice so it slopes away from the house and the shop. And eventually I'm probably gonna have like a little mini tree nursery here, because this field over here I kind of want to fill up with trees and, you know, give us a little bit of cover from the highway, because this is a provincial road here, which means highway in Manitoba, a secondary highway. So I dug out some dirt from around the stump there with the tractor, but it wasn't going to come out. It's probably an old oak, so it's probably in there pretty deep. But I know once I have the Hitachi here, it'll probably pop out like butter. And there's a couple others. A bunch of this brush is going to go. There had been a big pile of crap in here too. It wasn't really so much garbage, but there was some scrap, which is all now in that pile there. But I couldn't get at it because it was all full of all this deadfall that was just thrown in here or just left to fall on itself. So I burnt it all. It was basically all in a perfect pile, and I just kept adding all the other deadfall that I could find, because there was already snow here, and I burnt it all in pretty much one day. And it smoldered for days after. So that's pretty much the whole process here. Most of the garbage, scrap iron and that, or scrap tins behind the shed here are all cleaned up. We had a bit of snow here earlier this week. It was a little bit depressing, but some moisture was needed. So you go back here. I've shown this a couple times before. And my wife and I were in here digging away, and I had like a gold sieve, like for gold padding and that, and I was screening out the dirt. And then anything that didn't fall through the screen, I just threw it in the wheelbarrow pretty much. So this is all getting cleaned up pretty quickly here. It's been a lot of work and my back's been bugging me a lot, so I'm a little bit limited to what I can do. Some of it's because I need proper insoles for my shoes. Getting to be an old man here. But this is another spot I'm going to come in here with the excavator. I'm going to price out some pond liner, and then I'll grub out that stump, and there'll be a couple others after I drop these trees here, and then I'll dig that all out to the way I want it, to the shape, and then I'll get some pond liner, like that EPDM material, and then we're going to have a nice pond back here. I'm going to save some of these rocks to help decorate the pond and all that. It's going to be our little park area here. And I love model trains, so I want to do like G-scale model railroading, and I want it to be back here. All that underbrush there will get cleaned out. It just takes time, and like I said, my back's been bothering me a lot, and it sucks because I love working back here. I love doing this stuff. I'm not some lazy operator who doesn't want to do any manual labor. I don't mind it. I love it, in fact. Sometimes I get tired of being in the machine. But yeah, so I'm gonna get that all cleaned up. Some of this underbrush here on this side of the little trail is gonna get all cleaned out. Let these oaks grow nice and big. So it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna look really good. Can't wait.